I'm a nursing student here in Arizona. And hi, guys. I'm Val. I'm a nursing student here in Arizona. I wanted to do a quick upload here on study groups. I do go to a study group. This kind of seems to come up a lot when it comes to like orientation or panels. I always get this question a lot like, oh, should I join a study group? Or everybody join a study group. It's the best thing ever. Um, I think it really just depends. I clicked with my group very, very well. So we do have a study group. It's four of us. I feel like any more than four, maybe five, that's just a lot of people, and it's a lot to kind of put together. But I don't know, some people like having a lot of people in their study group and, it works out for them, so it just depends on the person. It's actually really funny because me and my group, we do not like study groups. We have never done study groups. We are independent learners. We do not like going and studying with somebody. Like neither of us, none of us have ever liked that. And but everybody just kept talking about study groups when we had gone into nursing school. So we had decided to do one because we were like, well, they passed, so they must know what they're talking about. Let's have a study group. So it has been very helpful. We create our own kind of mini study guides over material. We all score about the same thing, within like four of each other will score. And I found that when we score low, um, because we've had low scores before, when we scored low, I found that our study group was not prepared. So when we had high scores, it was because when we showed up to our study group, we would talk about what was going to be on the exam and we would type out our own study guides, but we didn't really have to reference the material as much. We would answer each other's questions, kind of go back and forth. We came with a game plan. We understood what we were discussing as we were going. We did not have to go back and let's read through these PowerPoints. And it wasn't like dead silence where, we were typing up everything or still doing the notes or anything like that. Like when we were successful in our exams, it was because we had already studied the material prior, and we already knew what we were going to be talking about. So we already had the vocab words down. We already had, the concepts down. We already had that stuff down. And if we had a question, we would come with the question and then we would discuss what we had down. And then we would come to realize that maybe, one person understood it differently than the other person. And so that helped us kind of build in the missing pieces. And I found that when we did poorly on an exam, it was because we showed up and we didn't have, a really solid grasp on the material and the concepts. We just kind of were piecing everything together. We would go back to do our lecture notes and we'd look at stuff and, oh, I don't know what this is. And, when you don't come prepared, I don't feel that, if you're studying and you don't know the concepts, you can't expect your study group to just teach it to you. You really have to self study and, write down questions, take your notes, understand, and then utilize your study group for clarification. Utilize your study group to help you fill in the missing pieces, not necessarily to teach you. If you find a group and you're that person that kind of needs to be retaught and your group is okay with that, that's great to have something like that. But I find that we spend hours at this study group and we have, a hard time, especially if we don't come prepared. Like I have to read the chapters and read my PowerPoints, write notes, come with an outline, and then we get together at the study group and we all organize it together. And that's what's made our exams so successful. And when we haven't done that, our exams were not successful. So I think there's some type of correlation there. And from I know, like from what I've heard with my colleagues, they feel the same way, and study groups aren't for everyone. I know somebody that is in the last leg of nursing school and she does not like study groups and she will not do study groups and she is doing okay. She passed all the blocks and she's going to pass this one. So just kind of find people that, bring the same thing to the table as you but maybe think differently. You have different visual learners and, you know, auditory learners. You have people that write really good notes. Get with those people that are doing well, ask them what they're doing, and then see if you can do a study group, even if you just meet, once a week or something to kind of catch up on stuff or to see where you are, to hear them bounce ideas back and forth. And then you realize kind of where you are in comparison to everybody else. And you can see, especially if you're struggling, if you're kind of skeptical about study groups, do your first exam when you get to nursing school. If you don't do that well, join a study group and see how that works out. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion on study groups and how they've helped me. Um, as I said, we don't actually like study the material, we go over the material, create an outline for us to later study independently. And we're able to like answer each other's questions and stuff. So I definitely recommend something like that. And I wish all of you luck. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below.